does he think he is? I just told you who I thought I was.
Ollie Oxen.
I just told you. That's who I think I am.
Hey, what's up, fam? It's your boy Ali here. Welcome back to the channel. We are continuing our studio update. We finally got our monitor situated, and now we're moving on to my favorite part, cable managing our computer. Now, the workstation as it's set up is pretty much going to function as a dual purpose setup. Over here, I'm going to be doing editing, gaming, and recording. And then over here to my right, I have a workstation setup. This is where I'll be doing builds, filming a lot of the practical work outside of cinematic views of whatever I happen to be presenting to y'all. Before we get into any of that, we got to make sure that this is functional and presentable. If you know me, you know cable management is one of my highest priorities when it comes to builds and presentation, and the way that it's set up right now is simply functional. I just needed it to be up and running, but we're getting to the point where it needs to be finished. I did a video about an Alex drawer mod where I put outlets and all of my power and adapters into a modified Alex drawer. If you want to check it out, the video should be up here. One of the biggest criticisms that I got with that video was, where's the ventilation?
It's so damn hot.
I went and installed 3 fans, one 120mm intake fan and 2 80mm exhaust fans. I think that's going to be enough airflow to make sure that the temperature stays cool, but I need to find a way to control the fans because the AC power units that I bought off of Amazon to power the fans, they don't have any fan control, which means the fans just spin at full speed and they're pretty loud. Mind you, they're Noctua fans, but even a Noctua fan at 2000 RPM, pretty distracting. So I went and got a fan control hub. Now these are older pieces of tech. They're typically found in cases that have 5.5-inch drive bays. So the idea is to have my intake and exhaust fans hooked up to this fan controller, which also comes with temperature sensors, so I can have a live readout on how hot, if at all, my components are getting underneath my desk. And I'm going to show you how I do that. I'm going to have 2 additional mods to the desk. Now, I used to keep my SD card reader and my audio interface mounted to the underside of my desk. At this stage in my enthusiasm for building, that's not really sufficient anymore. I want something with a little bit more elegance and a bit more integration with the actual desk itself. So I had the idea to mount my SD card reader, my audio interface, and my fan hub into the drawer faces on my Alex drawer.
Very nice.
I'm going to be utilizing a 3D printer to make sure that we have some housing around the components to give it a clean, stock kind of look. We're going to really try and do something that I haven't seen done before and show you how you can do it as well. It does take a little bit of patience. It does take some time, but I think the end result is going to be well worth it and a one-off kind of piece to make sure the studio is a space where I feel comfortable and inspired to work. Let's get to work. So the mod is finished. I think it looks awesome. A couple things that I want to address: that during the build process, I ended up making the 3D models, but for some reason, I still haven't learned how to compensate for the inner walls on the 3D prints. So a lot of the pieces didn't fit as snugly as I wanted to. So to make sure that they did fit without slipping out, I had to use hot glue. For a long time, I hated on hot glue. I thought that it was very cheap.
Hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around.
But today I've gained a whole new respect for hot glue. I understand why they do it now. It has a very tight hold. Things don't move once you put it in there.
Hey, yo.
And that's what I did for my components in the prints. I hot glued them in place. Typically I wouldn't do that, but those back parts of the components in the drawer are never going to be seen, so I don't really have to worry about presentation. And on the front, they look clean, so that's all I care about. The cutting process was a bit challenging. I didn't get the cuts as clean around the edges, and some of the paint did chip off, especially around the SD card reader, but not really upset about that. And the final thing I wanted to address, there are some scrapes on the faces of the drawers. I've had these drawers for going on, I think 3 years at this point. Don't be too harsh about that. All in all, it was a great build, man. I have my audio interface in the times that I need to have. Wired headphones, I can plug those in when I need to film an extra shot, add something to a video, instead of having to get up and go behind my computer, plug it into the adapter, wait. Instead of doing, I can just sit right here at my desk, plug it straight in. Everything hooks up fine. And then with the fan controller, the literal coolest thing ever, I can sit there and adjust the fans to the point where I can't hear anything and it's on. I did use a power supply. I don't think that was the most elegant solution. It's functional, but I think there's a better way to do it with a lot less space taken up by the power supply. But there's a constant stream of fresh air going in and the hot air is being exhausted out of the top. I think it works for the intended purpose. And I put a little LED strip in there just to give it a little zhuzh.
Did you just say zhuzh?
Zhuzh it up a little bit.
Zhuzh?
And it was a lot easier having the power supply in there because I was able to hook the SATA connector straight up. And I got a remote controller if I ever want to change the colors. I think it's the coolest thing I've done so far. I don't know the safety regulations that come behind having all of your power adapters and plugs and extension cords in a space that small, but I have to assume that it's okay. This is going on my 2nd year of having this. I haven't had any issues, and that was before I had the fans. Now that I have airflow, I'm resigned to believe that everything's going to be fine. We're almost finished with the entire studio. We have 1 or 2 more videos to finish. I have a charging station set up that I want to do something different. Marquez had a studio tour and he showed where he stores all of his batteries, and I have a lot of batteries and things that I need charged on a regular basis, but I think there's a more aesthetically pleasing way to display things that are charging. Stay tuned for that one. Hopefully that'll be my next video. Yeah. If you like this and thought this was dope, please consider leaving a like. Definitely leave a comment if you can. And if you really, really want to support, just hit the subscribe button, man. I really appreciate it. We're closing up on 3,000 subscribers. Hopefully we can get there sooner than later. Also, the Patreon page is live. If you like what I do here and want to support me directly, consider subscribing to my Patreon page. All of the details are in the link below. I think that's it. Yeah, if I don't see you before 2022, Happy New Year, and I hope you can stick around for this next part of the journey. We're out. I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Sayonara, see you later. Be greater, don't be a hater. If you can't be a master hunter, be a master baiter.
Get out!